Welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and our weekly look back at the CBSI Hot Top 10 from 6 months ago. Today we're going to be looking back at the list from February 22nd, 2019, and I'm recording this on August 22nd, 2019. As always, I give you the date of when I record this so you know when this information is most relevant. And this week's list, we got a couple books that have kept running on, keeping on, and we've had a couple books crash and burn. The dangers of variance is going to be very apparent in this list. But we're also, hope everybody's got their drink with them, even though it's early on a Saturday, because Immortal Hulk is back with a vengeance again this week as well. So, without further ado, let's get into this list, see what we can learn, so that we all make better decisions when we're chasing those hot books going forward. First up, at number 10 is Venom, number 9, the animation 1 in 10 variant with Spider-Man Noir on the cover. And this is the first appearance of Dylan Brock, and this was about the hit the list about the time it was revealed that Dylan was actually Eddie's son, and not just nephew or brother or cousin or whatever, that he's actually Eddie's son. Back then, this book was going for $25. With the new Absolute Carnage coming out, this book has climbed again. It had settled back down a little bit, and now it's climbing again kind of right now. Although it's really weird, it's going anywhere from $15 to $40. I think it's really how patient you are in trying to get a deal. So it was $25 then, it's $15 to $40 now. Although most of them are asking $40 to $50 for raw copies of this book. If you look at 9.8s, I said it had kind of settled. For the most part, there's only been 5 9.8 sales of this book. The first 4 all went for around $200, scattered all the way from March through 1st of June, I think. And then right at the end of July, one went for $335. There's not many of them listed right now. I don't think there was a 9.8 listed at the moment. There was a couple of 9.6s that they were asking around $100 for. So yeah, with all the buzz around Donny Cates, the symbiotes, Absolute Carnage, the expectation that Dylan may play a role in this story, this book is kind of kept on keeping on. But you can find it for deals if you're patient and when you're looking for this one. So that is Venom number 9, the animation 1 in 10 variant. At number 9 on the list, everybody drink, Immortal Hulk for the 5th week in a row, and the 4th different book from the Immortal Hulk series. This is Immortal Hulk number 3. Nothing super key about this, other than it's an early entry into the Immortal Hulk series and a really cool Alex Ross cover. Back then, this book jumped from basically a $10 book to a $20 book. And now it is a $25 to $40 book, with most of them going right for around $30. 9.8s, though, go for only about $75. So about $45 difference between a 9.8 and a raw copy. So you're looking at, a little more than what it costs to actually slab it, but not a whole lot. Not necessarily a premium for this. There are several of them out there, although it was a little print run. But Immortal Hulk continues to be hot. It was hot. It's still hot. People love this story, and it just keeps on going. And with that in mind, let's move on to number 8 on the list. While this is not a Immortal Hulk title, this is Avengers 684, the first appearance of the Immortal Hulk, which I'm going to sort of agree with the CBSI guy. I guess so. You get these a lot. We can get rebrandings of characters. It becomes a key, but he's still the Hulk. We just found out he's immortal. But this is definitely a book that is desired. This is the first time it had hit the list for a while during this run. So that makes 5 Immortal Hulk related books in 5 weeks on the list. Back then, this was jumped up to $25 to $30. Now it's more $30 to $40 and consistently going for about $35. 9.8s for this. Also not a huge difference, but they're going $80 to $90 for 9.8. So a little more than that Immortal Hulk number 3, but not a lot more. So still in a similar price range. Print run on this is quite a bit bigger, so there's more of these out there. It's part of the factor why it's only slightly more than Immortal Hulk number 3. So that is Avengers number 684, number 8 on our list. And number 7 on our list is Old Guard number 1, the gold foil, 1 per store variant. And this is basically that the announcement that they were pursuing a Netflix film of this comic, and that Charlize Theron was potentially attached to said film. I don't know anything necessarily about the story. I didn't really look it up. But back then it jumped, for the gold foil variant, jumped to 30 plus, while the regular was going for 10 to 15. Now the gold foil is still going for 10 to 30. Occasionally it brings 30. Most of the time it's bringing 10 to 20. And the regular cover is only bringing $5 to $10. The cat is apparently wanting attention, but she hasn't jumped up here yet, so she's just gonna have to wait. 9.8 to this book, or for the gold foil, are going for around $100 to $130, whereas I didn't look up the regular, sorry, on this one, but people are asking. So I said that it's going for 10 to 30, but people are still asking. The listings are still 40 to 50 for the raw copies. But the 9.8s are listed in that $100 to $150 range. So they're fairly in line with what they've been selling for, but they are asking more for the raw book than it's really going for typically. And number 6 on our list, well, come here. Oh, no. Wants attention, but doesn't want to be picked up. So, number 6 on our list is Rye number 0. And this is on the list for the second week in a row. Back then, so we talked about last week that it got up to basically 200s for the matte and 300s for the glossy of a 9.8. Now, as I talked about, the matte has come all the way back down to, so then in the second week on the list, the matte copy got up to 275. And the glossies were up to 500, but this book has fallen back again. Matte copies are now going for 120 to 150 in a 9.8, and glossies are back down around 300. Raw copies of this book, a matte will cost you $15 to $20, whereas the glossy is more in the $40 to $60 kind of range for a Rye number 0. With that, let's move into our top 5. And number 5 on the list is Vampirella. The Valentine's Day special, Shannon Mare, 1 in Virgin variant, limited to only 500. So this was just a really cool, sexy Vampirella cover with a low print of only 500, and back then it was going for $55 plus. Now it is basically, and here she comes finally. You've been wanting attention the whole time. So, knew she was going to make an appearance. So, where was I at? Vampirella, back then was going for 55 plus for a raw copy. Now, recent raw sale, the only recent raw sale, and by recent I mean like 3 months, went for 45. There's only been 3 recent 9.8 sales in the last 3 months. They all went for about 80. And basically, that's because the listings on this book, there's a couple listed for 60, but the rest are listed raw for 150 plus. And 9.8 are like basically the same price that 9.8s are listed for, which is 130 to 150. Like, yeah, people are asking some crazy prices for this one because it's there's only 500 of them, but it's not really going for that. It's definitely, I mean, it's still going, it did sell for 45, but there just have not been many sales, mainly because the listing prices on this one tend to be a little bit crazy. So that is Vampirella, the Valentine's Day Shannon Mare Virgin variant at number 5. Number 4 on our list is Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 2, the Scalera 1 in 25 variant. And this is, I said at the beginning, this is, beware of the variant cover. Well, this one was basically a 1 in 25 of number 2, the first appearance of the Dark Guardians. And as CBSI noted, it's pretty rare for a team first appearance to really matter very much. Justice League, Avengers, but most team first appearances don't usually take off in value, but this one did right out of the gate. It was going for $40 to $50 the week of release. Now this is a $5 to $10 book. And I put the cat down, and here she comes again. Sorry. Come here. If you would just sit. Ow. Okay. So now this book has fallen all the way back to $5 to $10. Basically cover price plus shipping. The asking price on this is still $15 to $20, but even the people trying to sell this book have realized that it's just not really worth very much. Only 2 9.8 sales I could find during the whole period since it was listed on Go Collect. One way back in March went for $120. And then the most recent one, right at the end of July, went for $20. That is correct. The slab of this 1 in 25 variant went for $19.50 plus shipping. So that guy did not get his slabbing fee back. So if you chase this book at $40 to $50 when it first came out, I'm sorry. We talk about patience, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it would have paid off a lot to have waited on this particular cover. So that is Guardians of the Galaxy number 2, the Scalera 1 in 25 variant. Next up, in number 3 is Marvel Tales Black Widow number 1, the 1 in 50 Bartel Virgin variant. So the regular cover is this cover just with a trade dress, yet right out of the gate, and not sure exactly why, what was key about this book in any way, shape, or form, but second week after release, it was going for $225 for a 1 in 50 Virgin. Now, there wasn't a lot. This was not a high print book. Most shops didn't order 50, so there's not a ton of them out there, but there were several. But it was going for $225. We're talking that Spider-Gwen 1 in 100 kind of prices 2 weeks in. And basically now this book, so it went from $225 to now it's still going for a round ratio, which is pretty good. For a 1 in 50 to still be going for $40 to $50 6 months later is pretty good. But if you pay $225 for this book, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that twice again, but currently now there are only 2. I say it's going for $40 to $50. Those are all the sales recently have been in that range. Currently there's only 2 listed on eBay, one for $119 and one for $300, but that's why there hasn't been any recent sales. 9.8, one sale way back in May went for $215. The funny thing is, like I said, the only difference between this and the trade dress is a $5 to $10 book. I don't see this as that spectacular of a cover. I'm not sure why it took off to $225, but it is definitely not carrying that price now. So that was number 3 on our list. Number 2 on our list is sort of a repeat from last week. This is Hit Monkey number 1, but this is the second print, which is a lot harder to find. And basically, again, this was based on Hit Monkey announcement that Hulu had optioned Hit Monkey for a potential series. So back then, the second print jumped all the way up to $100. And now it can be found basically it's going for $20 to $50. Most of the listings are 50 plus, including some that are crazy all the way up to 200. But most of them are 50 plus, which is why occasionally it goes for 50. But if you're patient, auctions and stuff tend to go closer to $25 to $30 on this one. Currently, there's only one 9.8 listed, and it's listed for $225. There was a recent sale of one that was a best offer, was accepted on a $250 listing. I don't know what that best offer was because it hadn't showed up on Go Collect just yet. So, and I just got that it had went for somebody got taken a best offer. So that is Hit Monkey number 1, the second print, and that is number 2 on our list this week. And finally, we have a free comic book day book, and this is Umbrella Academy, the free comic book day book, and basically this is the first appearance of Umbrella Academy and the characters that appear in that show. This was right when the show hit, and it was super popular right off the bat. It was a really good TV show, and this book, this free comic book day book that you would think there'd be tons of them out there, well, it exploded to $50 to $60. And it was just a really big, I mean, it just took off. Now this book, we've moved away from season 1. There's supposed to be a season 2, so the show is going to come back, but the book is cooled slightly, I would say. Right now it's going for in that $30 to $50 range, although occasionally you can find an auction or a listing and it goes for like $15. So this is one you might want to be a little patient on, be a little picky as you're looking until you get closer to season 2, when they'll probably start creeping up again. But there are chances to find it for less. It's listed generally in the $35 to $60 range, but like I said, there are chances to get it for less than that. 9.8s are going, like, there's been a bunch of sales of 9.8s. I think like 25 in the basically since the spring, and going back to like June 1st, they've been going anywhere literally from $110 to $200. Again, I think this is be a little patient, find the book for your price, and then jump on it if you want it. But yeah, so definitely look for deals. Most are listed $170 plus for 9.8 on eBay, but like I said, there's been a couple sales recently of 110 and 120, so you can get it for a little less. But there was also a sale right in there for 200. So be a little selective about which one you grab, and you can probably get you a decent deal on this particular book. So that is this week's list. Like I said, Immortal Hulk was back twice this week, so that train keeps chugging. So everybody take a drink again. We had Rye Zero, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and Hit Monkey number 2, or Hit Monkey number 1. The second print kind of were repeats on this week's list. And then we had a couple of incentive variants that crashed and burned. And I say that even though the one is still going for a good value, but compared to what people were paying for it when it first came out, that one's got to hurt. So as always, be smart, be selective, and be patient. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.